our next speaker, Kathryn Watkins. Woo! Many of you may know Kat. She very much speaks her mind. She does do a lot of research, and she don't take any nonsense. Absolute fantastic woman. Now, before I introduce Kath on, I just want to say if there are any children around, she is going to be talking about a topic that's not child suitable at all. So if you do have any children, can you please take them away for a short walk? Kath will be on for about 10-15 minutes. So if you could just take them for a walk away. I can see there's no children here at the moment, so I think that's already been done. So just a warning now. So can we just have a massive round of applause for our Kathryn Watkins?
She is the hostess with the mostess, isn't she? Let's have a round of applause for Lucia, because she's amazing, isn't she? Woo. Right, yeah, thank you, guys. Yeah! Yay! Thanks, guys. Right, yeah, so if anyone's got any young children, I hate to have to do this, but, you know, it is part and parcel of this whole education. There's a big thing involved in this, a big cause of behaviour which shouldn't be anywhere near children. And my research at the moment is the sex industry, in particular, the pornography industry. Now, this one really is one of the most disturbing, one of the most uncomfortable things to talk about, purely because 91% of males watch it, 60% of females watch it. That's a recent statistic. And obviously it does a lot of problems to the individual. It has a lot of problems for relationships, and it has real world consequences. And when I say real world consequences, I mean horrific, terrifying consequences for everyone. So in school at the moment, I don't know how many people, you know, I think people here know, but how many people in the wider community know, I don't think so. They think that pornography is being introduced in secondary school in terms of them being taught the consequences of. And I'm telling you categorically, they're absolutely not teaching them the consequences of pornography like they should be, and the dangers of pornography. They are teaching them that it can be part of a healthy sex life. They do tell them it's unrealistic, mind you, but we all know, being a teenager, we don't know the difference between reality, and most people do actually believe that it is real, so it doesn't matter what they say. But they're introducing it, I think in the RSE review that Miriam Cates read out, or she put together from other people's work, who really worked hard on that. And one of the things they were teaching the children is how to choke your partner safely during sex. This is absolutely, you can die from that, mind, asphyxiation. Thousands of people die from it every year. Yet they're teaching children to go away and have a look at different types of pornography. Now, for the individual, obviously, this can become, and as many, you know, not everybody who watches pornography is going to become addicted to it. However, pornography can be an addiction, and when it is an addiction, it is, well, it's negative whether you're addicted or not. If you're consuming it, it's negative. But if it becomes an addiction, that is when it really, really does become an issue. So it acts as the same, you know, I'm sure many people here have taken drugs of some kind, and, you know, in your youth or whatever. You build tolerance to drugs. You need more and more of the same thing to get that buzz. Well, because pornography runs across the exact same neural pathway as chemical drugs, it does the same thing. So what does that mean? It means that people get bored with the same thing. They become desensitized, so things like child abuse becomes trivialized, violence, sexual violence become trivialized, people got more intent to rape. This is where your rape culture comes from, because let's be honest, over 90% of pornography, and that's only stuff you're seeing, 4% of it is on the internet, 96% of it is on the dark web, and that is the real disturbing stuff. But over 90% of pornography is violent, it's aggressive, it's racist, it's sexist. Now, when we've got children, at the click of a button, because it doesn't matter what you're putting on your phones for your children, pornography is popping up everywhere. And it's not an accident, it's fully intentional. It was recently, last week, they had the Paw Patrol little kiddies biscuits, and on the back of it was a web address which had the word kids in it. So it was www.somethingkids.co.uk, which takes you straight to a Chinese porn site. That's no accident, because things like that go through quality control. That is absolutely no accident. They want them to watch it. So, as I was saying, obviously you need more and more drugs to get the same effect. You need more and more pornography to get the same effect. But it's not just more pornography they need. It's harder pornography they need, more extreme pornography. And the things that you can get on the internet today are absolutely, and like I say, these are the bits we can see, is so frightening, it's beyond. It really is. So when your children are looking at that, they get aroused from it. Some children do. It's a biological feeling, right? So that is addictive in itself. So all of these people that are looking for extreme porn, they did a study. It's called the Coolidge effect. I don't know if anyone knows it. They did it on rats. And basically they had a big tank full of female rats on heat and one male rat. And they put a male rat in with the female rats, and that male rat mated with every single rat on heat until it was absolutely knackered, basically. It was so tired, So even when the female rats were still pushing this rat because they wanted a mate, it wouldn't move. But when you put a new rat inside that tank on heat, the male rat, in whatever state, will get up and mate with our rat. They did it with humans, and guess what? The exact same thing happened. So what they did is they put the same scene for healthy men, they said, the same scene, and basically they were doing you-know-what to it. Then they lost arousal. So the subject didn't know what was going to happen next. They lost arousal, and they quickly changed the scene to a new scene, a harder scene. And straight away, they got their arousal back. Now, this is why we have a massive case of erectile dysfunction in teenagers, early 20s. Now, this was something for the older generation, once you're past it and whatever. But it's actually chronic masturbation. Now, what do people do when they watch pornography? So you've got the pornography and the chronic masturbation causing erectile dysfunction. In the minds of these kids, they believe that beating your partner up because the partner looks like it's pleasurable and is allowing it and enjoying it, they're getting really unhealthy, toxic messages about what sex should be. So in their own minds, they become dissociative, they become depressed, they can overstimulate give you a malfunction of a stress system. It can cause desensitization. Then for your relationships, you've got no hope. And you may think at the time it's all great and you're having a great time but I can guarantee you the intimacy is not there, the way that you're viewing each other, you're more likely to cheat because there's trust issues there, they're showing you incest porn. And people watch this, though. There was a scene, and I'm not going to say what it is, but it was a newborn baby still connected to his mother's umbilical cord. I'm not going to say what happened because I'm quite hardened to a lot of it. It's been really hard, tough thing to describe. But 50 million people viewed that scene. 50 million. So it's not just a little problem. It's not just something, it's harmless. As long as you're an adult and you're over 18, it's harmless. No, it's not. Because it creates, and I will say it creates sexual offenders en masse. En masse. And that's child-on-child abuse as well. You'll be horrified with the stories that I hear from people because they trust me enough to tell me their stories and I would never tell anyone else. But we're talking about sibling on sibling, 5-year-olds with 3-year-olds because they've witnessed something. Neither of those children know what just happened. They haven't got the capacity to understand it. The prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for evaluating risk, reward, and danger, isn't fully developed until age 25. This is why, when we're teenagers, we all make stupid mistakes because we're not thinking properly. We can't judge the situation properly. And here we are putting pornography in their face. And believe me, they are seeing it. I know for a fact that, 7, 8-year-olds, even younger, they're easily accessing it on the internet or whatever, And like I say, it's the underlying thing, right, that people they don't want to talk about it. They really, really don't, but it has to be spoken about. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to have to stand here and explain all this, but I need people to understand how important it is and how much of a cause of sexual offending it is. It really is. And child abuse is not over there on its own. Sex trafficking is not over there on its own. They're connected. Paedophilia, all of it. sexual offending. They've all got a symbiotic relationship to pornography. You don't get child porn, as they call it, which is basically child abuse, torture, rape on infants. You don't get there without first having the adult porn. So when they say soft porn is harmless, that's wrong for the reasons I've just given you. The pornographers know this. They know that people are obviously becoming desensitized to their content, which is why they bring you this sort of content. And you never know. You will never know. And it doesn't matter if that person you think is enjoying that scenario. You will never know. You can never guarantee that that person has not been trafficked. You can never, ever know. So every time we are watching it, every time people are watching pornography, we're enabling child abuse, paedophilia, sex offending, and sex trafficking. And I can tell you now, I was a medical researcher for 10 years before I started this, right? The medical industry, as many of you know, is massive. It is huge. However, it's not the biggest. The biggest industry is the sex industry. It's the most powerful, it's the wealthiest, it's what they use for sexual blackmail. As we know, you've got your CIA assets. Hugh Hefner was one, Alfred Kinsey was one, Jeffrey Epstein was another. This is absolutely massive. So what we've decided to do, and I'm not naive to think that them in that building are going to do anything at all, but we got to start somewhere. We have to. So we've managed to get a petition from Parliament. I was absolutely shocked because it's never had one before on pornography. We were naive enough to say we want it taken down completely because I know that's not going to work. It's just too powerful an industry. So what we've done is we've set one up for stopping the access of under 18s to online porn and criminalising anyone that does do it. So it's a start, guys, right? It is a start. It's a start. So what I would like everyone to do, because I think it's probably got about 1,000 views now, is it? By February, we need 10,000 views for them to even give us an answer. This winds me up, this does, right? And you need 100,000 views for them to debate it. I want a debate in that. Now, like I say, I know that a lot of them are involved. So I know that, but the only thing we can do, right, is expose it. The only thing we can do, and I can remember the woman, she's not with us anymore, is Judith Reisman. She battled this industry for 4 decades. She's not with us anymore. And she said, the only thing we can do, because it's so powerful, those big tech giants are not going to take it down, right? They make too much money from it. Children are a massive commodity through pornography. She said, we have to teach people, make them understand the dangers, and get them to stop subscribing. If they didn't have any subscribers, they couldn't do it. At the moment, there's a massive demand. We're creating that demand by watching the pornography. And our minds, our relationships, everything is being torn apart by this one thing. And it's like I say, it is the most horrific. I can't say a lot today because I'm still paranoid if there is children around. But I will be doing a presentation in a month or so where I can go give you real life consequences. It's horrific, but you've got to hear it. You have to understand why. And if anyone wants to read my... I've got some, with Liberty Tactics, with Lou, we've done some shows on pornography, and with the amazing Alex Thompson from the column, because he's amazing. I love Alex Thompson. We've done some there, and I've got my own website, exposingthelie.info, and I've written blogs on this, and including the porn industry. So if you want to go and get a lot more detail, go to those. And guys, you've just got to speak out. Any opportunity you can, speak out on it, because... like I say, even pre-internet days, I'm talking how bad it was before they could access it. When you just found a Playboy in their dad's bedroom or something like that. Now we're talking 24/7 at the click of a button from age 4 or 5. We're in serious, serious trouble, and we need to get out of it. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Well done, Kath. Not a very nice subject, but as always, Kath explains everything brilliantly. So thank you so much, Kath, and thank you so much for your efforts.